Hello and welcome to another session of the Veil Iterations in this weird third quarter of the year that has been wildly hazardous. But here we are. We are taking up with our characters following their travel to the sanctuary for our onomastic Ono. We did some of the interpersonal, remember what we call those the moments of interaction there, of emotional intimacy, and we did some of the moves that came out of that, from that, which boosted some people's various resources and so on. But that's kind of where we are taking on now. Oh no, you had originally intended to bring primarily Trigger with you. And then as it happened, Cora was there. And so you brought both of them with you. And then there were kind of some moments of the discussion again. Why don't you tell us again, like, I know we've got this ship, not ship there, the kind of the engine core thing we've seen there. We've got these figures, somewhat phantasmal, that are moving around. What else should we remember is on screen for this scene?
Yeah, so, and please correct me if I contradict, due to my dehydrated brain from last from last week. Um yeah, so I think we had established it's sort of like a large lounge area, big and open and vaulted. I think you'd probably find in one side of it sort of like a kitchen, at like a kitchen area, because we kind of, I think Gona was cooking for everybody. And I think right in the middle of the room, there's a spiral staircase that goes up, out of this domed area. And then, yeah, so the ghosts of their order are visible off and on. They are like independent. I think that they just kind of go about, and I imagine that they are going about and doing the kinds of things that they would have been doing in, if, for lack of a better term, in whatever their monastery or whatever their sort of normal thing is. So you might see them performing different activities and things of that nature, and they're not constant, right? I like the idea of, like, they kind of come and go and things. So
Let me ask you this. In your sense of the world here, are these constructs something that is showing up in the kind of the micro veil that you have here? Are they ghosts? Are they psychic projections? Are they like some sort of shadows cast by the energy that the engine gives off? Like, what do you, Ono, think they are?
I think he thinks they are, um um physical manifestations of, um his memories and psyche and those sort of things. I think that's what he believes they are, is um that they are a piece of him, or them, sorry. So
And Cora, you kind of, you can see them, you can sense them. I can't remember, did we talk about how you and your empathic senses were picking them up last time?
I think we established that Cora was still kind of shell shocked
Yeah.
when she
Yeah.
first arrived, and then everything with Trigger
Yeah.
was very distracting. So,
And so I imagine we're kind of taking up now a little bit after you've all had time to all kind of come down off of the adrenaline of that. You know, you've got some kind of cobbled together querig that has poured out beverages for people. You've had a chance to sit and drink. And now you're looking around. Cora, what are you sensing from these projections? Do you read them as people? Are they empty? Are you reading emotions or something else? Like what do you think you're picking up?
I think there's something there, but it's slippery. It's difficult to grasp. It feels like there's somebody there, but they're masked somehow. Like every time, if she's not paying attention to them, she can feel them, but every time she tries to focus on one of them, it kind of slips away. And I think we established last time that they become more present the more comfortable you are with them, but I'm not sure whether or not when we like try and interact with them or stare at them, maybe that's when they start to like, they don't exactly scatter, like they're not running away, but they just kind of naturally seem to drift further away from us when we're paying attention to them.
You can see the forms of them. They don't seem to be like talking with one another or talking to you. There's no motion of that. They seem to be silently moving around and doing their thing. Trigger, you've just gone through this kind of some heavy emotional things and then got dragged here and had some moments of intimacy. So I think there is that bit where you kind of slowly calm me down a little bit, and that's the point at which we need to roll your start of session move. You're muted. Still muted. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're hard muted in the thing for some
We
reason.
can see you in Zoom being muted.
Do you go out and come back in? Okay. When I first started to use Zoom, there were I had a number of microphone issues that I remember that has gotten much better since then. But there was also the heyday of G Plus and Google Hangouts, where I'd say 1 in 3 sessions had some weird audio glitch. So I think, oh no, what do you perceive as the like the issue, the threat, the thing that you are worried about right now? Like what is on your table?
Um, can you
And you,
refresh what
yeah.
happened?
So I think last time you were contacted by
Yeah,
the iconoclasts,
yeah, yep.
uh, and they indicated that they know essentially where your loved ones live,
Mhm.
and you went
Right.
there, and there was an incident that
Yes,
occurred.
I remember. I think right now they are actually a little more concerned about the potential damage that they had done to their relationship with Destiny. Um, uh, is kind of at the forefront of their mind. Yes, the iconoclasts are dangerous. Yes, but this is I think this is new, and I mean definitely worried about the fact that um they know about her, but I think he's a little kind of kerfuffled about like what have I done, right?
Mm-hmm. And for Cora, I know that like uncovering the truth about the explosion is high and the people who have manipulated the story. What else is on your agenda?
Uh, I mean, other than the fact that she has a job interview potentially at some point, but she's also thinking of Mercury's warning that beware of friends with resources. And I think in the back of her mind, she's also kind of worried because of the way that Mercury phrased that it is like it's not a specific warning for her. It's kind of this is coming for all empaths.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Cora is worried about everything. There is that whole situation. There's the whole Church of Convergent Science thing. There is what is happening with her friend Trigger.
Now, did you spike fear, or are you
Nope.
just real close to it? Okay.
Nope.
Jonathan, let's hear you.
Hopefully this works.
Yes, okay, there we go.
My apologies. Zoom is playing havoc with my computer, so hopefully this doesn't happen again. But if it does, I'll have to log out and log back in again. Sorry, I missed your question, Lol.
So the question is, would you like to roll your start of session move?
Yes, please. And because of all the intimacy moves that we had last session, I believe I have still one bonus +1 to my start of session move.
Yeah.
So I'll add that and roll it. Oh, I didn't miss.
Yeah.
So it's a 9.
So let's take a look at that. So on a 7 to 9, we get to add 1 tick to the clock, and you're going to generate a chrysalis.
So that completes my clock.
Yeah.
So I now have a +1 on my transform. And so I'll mark that on the sheet. And yeah, I'm now at 2 chrysalis.
Yeah, and I believe, let's see, so you get the transform, you get the ticks of the clock, and I'm trying to.
I think that's all.
I think
that's all.
Yeah. Only hope yes. So it'll be once we start hitting those 10s and pluses. Now I will stop you here. You have. Oh no, sorry, I forget that bonds are spent by other people, and I don't think it's appropriate for other people to help you with that one. But yeah.
No.
So what? I mean, the clock ticks forward a little bit. What do the others see?
That's a good question. I mean, when we've missed, when triggers missed on the transform roll, we've seen negative consequences of their transformation and what's happening. Typically, they've had blackouts. Last time, Trigger got a blood nose at work and nearly had to get had to get out of there quickly before Ra called for medical and they got taken away for tests and stuff and things. Which did not sound like a good idea. But this time, because we didn't miss, I think we just see, we've seen changes with Trigger, the transformation manifest in their voice fluctuating a bit. Also, obviously their gifts and curses. So just to revisit it because it's been a little while. Their gifts are that they are naturally strong, and that they've got some sort of ESP or clairvoyance, extrasensory perception that they can sense, whether that's through the veil or through just the passage of the pattern of events. We're not sure yet, but those are the gifts or the positives of their transformation. The negatives are like the periods of blackouts and waking up in unfamiliar places, which we've just mentioned. I think maybe I think Trigger's skin also starts to turn a little, like maybe Cora, like I think we left off with Trigger and Cora having an intimate moment. And maybe maybe after that, like trigger starts to sweat and seem a bit paler or a little bit grey in the skin, and I think is that sufficient, Lol? Do you think
Yeah,
that's enough
absolutely.
to
Yeah,
see a
yeah,
because we've only got one. It wasn't a full
yeah.
multiple ticks on the clock, and it's the first time we've it's only a +1 transform, so I think it's a more subtle change.
Let me ask you this. Now that you've had a chance to sit and kind of take in this sanctuary, what about this place feels weirdly familiar? And not from, you've been here before, you got brought here before, but what about this like feels strange, like there's some connection here? Is it sound? Is it
There's
the light? Is it something else?
I think there's a presence. I think that the trigger senses something here that that feels alien but comforting. And whether that's the 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 phantasmal projections, or it's coming from Ono, or it's from something in Ono's possession, or it's from the space itself, Trigger's not sure.
That that seems more than fair. Uh and I don't believe anybody else has any start of session moves, right? Okay.
Nope.
So let's cut to the three of you sitting recovered, having a chance to sit and talk. I think it's fair that, as all of you sit, converse, we get that moment of intimacy. Each of you may take one tick off of one of your emotions, may take it down one level. And so what do you, this is your domicile, your domain. Oh no. What are you telling them about what you want to do, or what's next, or where you go from here?
Yeah. I think we need a plan. We've something is going on, and I can't help but believe all of these strange things are connected. But before we rush off again into something, I think we should figure out, put all our cards on the table. And sorry, a little late for Amazon, but put our cards on the table and figure out what our next move is together. That's Ono's voice. Sorry.
I mean, how do we take on an entire church? I know.
Or maybe we don't have to take on the whole church. Maybe we just need to figure out, chip away at one little piece. That might be the best way to start.
Wait, do you know who was responsible for the attack on my parents? On their building? I
We
didn't know
know that
we
it
knew
was.
that.
We know that it was connected to the Church of Convergent Science, but we don't know if it was an officially sanctioned thing, or it might just be a rogue element within the church itself.
Yeah, okay. I know that Moss knows.
You have a contact?
Yeah. Moss, well, I don't know if if he's exactly a friend, but I know him well, um and I think I have some information for him that he might find useful too. But he told me he knows something about the attack, and I really want to know what it is.
Yeah, and he offered you a deal, which you turned down.
I yeah, I kind of did. But I
Well,
now have some leverage on him, so maybe there's another way.
yeah, and none of us know about that deal, right? That was that happened in a private conversation.
Yeah, I think so. It hasn't
Well,
come up yet. Sorry.
let's go talk to him then. You look like you could use some sun. Maybe it's the lighting in here. You just look a
Yeah.
little washed out.
Do you feel he would be more or less inclined to um, be helpful with a large group of us, right? I mean, will it be, if the three of us come and will that, put him off, um or is it better that way? You know, should we attempt to um twist his arm or shake his hand?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it might be helpful. And I think Trigger, looks at Cora a little bit strangely because they weren't aware that their complexion has changed and is wondering, like, is feeling a little self-conscious now. Um,
Yeah, it might just be the lighting in here.
So it sounds to me like this is a trip over to Moss to there. Uh, how how do you exit out of your sanctuary? Oh no.
um I think there's just a door.
Okay. So it's just
Just the like I think that the where we're in is sort of like the where you enter, and I think there's um just some double doors um that lead out into sort of the I think we discussed that this was part of some sort of defunct World Expo sort of type thing, and then so it just leads down into um courtyard area, where there's other buildings and things around.
it's a little bit like those enormous Chinese abandoned malls in some ways, the multi-level and platforms and things going on. And I think as you kind of make your way out into this place, there's probably a subculture of groups that live here, just to get away from other systems of control, or to stay off the grid. It is again post scarcity, and so that sort of freedom is a more valuable commodity than almost than anything else. And the groups don't hassle one another. There are definitely some go-gangers and things that are set up here, Akira style, doing ramp jumps and things. But you'll make your way out, and I think we'll do the kind of the smash cut to a nicer part of the city, a little more upscale apartment complex, and one of those things where you kind of probably had to do a little social engineering to get in the door and head on up to Moss's thing. And Trigger, there are a couple of ways to handle this. There's ringing the doorbell, there's picking the lock, there's kicking the door in. What mode are you in here?
I think after the relaxing and peaceful effect of the sanctuary, I think Trigger rings the doorbell.
And Moss's face will pop up, and he'll say, "Trigger."
Hello, Moss. Can we come in? I have something important I need to talk to you.
Who is we?
Just me and some friends.
You'll forgive me if that doesn't sound particularly comforting. Do you want to try and talk your way in? Does it feel like sway?
Yeah,
Okay.
it does.
What do you want to roll here?
I think it's peace. Yeah, I think Trigger's trying to keep calm and not make a big deal out of it.
Okay.
Trigger doesn't want to get Moss offside. Not just yet anyway.
Okay.
So roll with peace. That's a flat roll for Trigger.
Okay.
And click the button. Oh, that's a 10. That's a good start.
So you're keeping yourself pretty calm, and he's not yet aware that you have absolutely stomped on the potential agreement.
Right.
So he will let you in. I do think that like he is very clearly when you come in, he is very clearly packing heat. Like he has a weapon. He has it not out, but he's definitely, this is an uncertain situation, and you've brought people with you. And sort of he lets you in, but he's already kind of moved to the other side of the big open room, and sat himself down in a chair, kind of so that social decorum dictates that you can sit in the couches and talk with him. He'll say, come in, sit down, introduce me to your colleagues.
Yeah,
Definitely is eyeing Cora, and kind of doesn't know what to make of Ono.
yeah. These are my friends. This is Cora and Ono. They're very helpful and close friends of mine. So they are helping me to find out more about what happened to my parents' building, which is why I'm here. I've been thinking about your proposition, and if you can tell me for certain who is behind this and everything you know about it, because this is my family we're talking about, then for their sake, I will agree.
See, that's interesting because I know that you've already spoken with her, which is kind of not what we agreed to.
Well, we didn't say when the time would start, and I couldn't just say couldn't just leave without saying goodbye.
But that's exactly what I asked you to do. See, now you put me in an awkward position here. So I think we probably need to renegotiate the terms of our exchange.
Well, what do you want, Moss?
Now I'm going to have you roll sway again. I think we're in a different segment here. I want to see what the range is of his options. Still with peace or something else?
I think it's the mad is starting to increase.
Okay.
But
Now,
it's
did you
not
when you
there
when you
yet.
marked peace, did you take mad down one?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Get
Well,
that.
yeah, so that's interesting because I'm not sure if that still fits here. Because I don't think it feels right to decrease mad here. So I
So do
might
you want to, are
change
you
it.
immediately turning around and seesawing? Okay, into mad.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think well, no, it's not mad either. I don't think so. I think let me just quickly check the
Yeah.
wheel.
Yeah.
Because I think it might be.
Irritated and annoyed counts as mad as well.
It's true, yeah. Just looking up powerful at the moment because
Okay.
I just want to see if no, I don't think it's any of those. I think it is mad. I
Okay.
think I'm so sorry it's a mad. I wasn't sure if it was it's irritated rather than that. So we'll go with mad
Let's
this
have you
time.
roll.
Yeah,
And then I want to check in with the others.
yeah. Sounds like a good. Oh, gee. And that's a 6.
Now, this is a place where the
Yeah.
others, if they wanted to spend a bond, could assist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people have any bonds with you.
Yeah, I think that everyone might have spent them.
Yeah.
What's insight? Oh no. Does that
That's my so that's my secret power.
Yeah.
I use that for that, but I arch.
So what you can do if you don't have a bond is you do have the help maneuver. There is a
right?
move for that. It is a rolled move, but if you want to try and do that, you could try and do that. Oh no, if you want to get in on the conversation to kind of drive it.
Yeah, so I have a quick I have a proposition.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna pitch this, and if it's not enough, we'll just say that it's not enough. But I was thinking that while this is all happening, Ono was never sitting down. They were just kind of casually walking about the the apartment or flat or whatever this is, looking at everything. And I'm kind of aiming for maybe an assess roll that I could get an insight on Moss by studying all of the things here, and that sort of stuff.
Sure. I think we can roll back during this conversation. We can do that. What do you want to roll that with?
I think power.
Okay.
And then I'm kind of angling towards the way that I want to help. It might not be it's kind of a mechanical help, would be to roll that true name on Moss if I gain an insight, right? And that could give some mechanical impacts, at least in the next phase of what we're doing here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So okay, so sorry, dice roller. 1, 2. I believe I'm 2 on power.
Yep.
And 9.
So that is a 9. So that feels reasonable to me. The cost. I think though, I think that if you want the 2 hold to do that with, I think let's have you mark a second tick in power as the cost there.
Okay.
What does it look like? What do we see on screen of you getting that insight, that true name into them?
Yeah, so I think as he walks around, Ono is trained at seeing beneath things and between things, and so he sees maybe objects that are and on display and things, whether there's pictures or other things, even just the layout of how his apartment is laid out, right? And as he looks at these things, you see these flashes of insight. So maybe he sees a picture on a mantle type thing, and there'll be a brief flash of insight about what that meant to Moss, right?
Okay.
And as he sees all of these different things, all those pictures, I kind of imagine, like, if you were saying, like, all these little snippets, and then they all kind of merge in to together, and that's this moment of insight that they have that they can use with in that as to the true name. So
let's have you roll true name as you turn to kind of put your attention. This is your talent on him to, say the key mimetic phrases to do the engineering here.
Okay, so you roll plus insight, so I would only have the 1 insight on.
That's correct.
Okay. That's a 10.
That is a 10. So you have 3 hold. So 1 hold, I think you can spend to give the +1 forward against him. Does that feel reasonable? And then you'll still have 2 more hold.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So Moss will say, first, I want to know who these 2 bozos are. And then I think we can work out a monetary remuneration, basically monetary, maybe more that you accept that you owe me a favor. Does that seem reasonable? So what he's asking mechanically is, he wants to know your agenda with these people, and he'll put another tick on your debt clock.
Yeah, that's and I think triggers. Oh, go.
I don't want to steal your thing, but when you're ready, I have a thing. I'm willing to butt in at this point if you want, or keep going.
Do it. Yeah, do it.
So I want to spend that other second hold on make him lose track of what they are doing.
Okay.
And I think Ono will step forward and say, that's probably enough of the threats and the uncooperativeness. We're all human beings here. Trigger's family was almost killed. Perhaps you could find it in yourself, deep in yourself, to provide him the peace of mind that he needs right now.
So which of the 2 things do you want to disrupt him asking? The setting the debt, or getting the information about you guys?
The debt.
Okay.
No, can I make a suggestion? I'd rather the information about you guys. If Joe, Joe, if you're open to that, if you prefer to do it with the debt, that's totally fine. We'll go with that. But from my perspective, or Trigger's perspective, I'd rather that not. I'm happy to have the debt, and I'll make a proposition for that. But I'd rather them not know
Yeah.
about you guys.
So I think he's shaken, like he kind of like you get up kind of close, you're talking in a way that's and it is, I tell you this, it's not gratis. I'll want payback later. Does that feel reasonable, Trigger?
Yeah, that's fine. I have some information that might be helpful to you too, Moss.
We'll come to that when we come to that. So the church was contacted by a group they came in just after the attack, but in a way that said to me that they already had some things on the ground. It's a religio governmental organization. And the sense I got from what was happening, why the church got involved, is that there had been some discussions. See, there are apparently people out there with some special talents. And the church has been working with some groups that are involved with their cultivation. And this particular subgroup apparently had been doing some, maybe not entirely legal biohacking, attempting to figure out something with whatever this weirdness is. So they had a long-standing relationship. And the church, they're very interested in these people. They would like to get them on board. They would like to bring them in. They have some contracts if they can bring in some of these, and I hate to use the word, but psychics is what they're calling them. I suspect that this company called Black Law probably was involved in the incident, and that it might have been something that went wrong, and now they're trying to capitalize on it. Certainly, the church is. Does that square with what you've heard, Trigger?
Yeah. But how would the church capitalize on this, on the explosion? That I do not
Here's the
understand.
thing. Yeah, no. That's a perfectly clear question. We've been working on a very clever campaign of mimetic manipulation that we're using in conjunction with a number of rumor mongers and for hire influencers. And basically, it looks like one campaign, like a campaign of fear and to generate fear. And certainly we're capitalizing on that. There are a number of sectors that we have where generating that kind of reaction is important for that. But the primary, that's the primary cover. The secondary for it is that by doing this, we're creating a whole level, a subset of panic within people that possess these powers. And then we offer them sanctuary. We offer them help. We offer them assistance. That's the way that we bring them on board. I'm very happy. I'm very proud of the work we've done here with this.
I think at that point, Trigger kind of can't help themselves and glances at Cora to see
Yeah, Cora,
how
what's
they're
your
feeling
reaction
right
to
now.
this?
Yeah.
She is furious at
Okay.
this. But I think I'm trying to hold it together.
Do you want to roll inner conflict?
Yeah, I probably do. I
Okay.
was going into this with I knew, but Cora did not know that we were. I figured we were going to visit, one of Trigger's friends. I thought this would be a positive interaction, and so I was going into this with a very peaceful mindset and trying to hold my tongue when things were not going well. But now things are really not going well. So I will roll in a conflict, and I'm going to roll it with mad.
Okay.
Which is 2d6. 4.
That is a 4.
Yeah. Hang on.
So
Let me mark my mad before things get worse.
yeah. I think that's the moment when you kind of look over Cora and you realize that at some point during all of this, this guy pinged building security. And building security is on its way.
Ugh.
Do we all know this?
No, I think Cora looks over and is the person who realizes that. What do you do, Cora?
Figure if you're done with this grease bag, I've got to go. We all do.
Trigger grimaces and winces at calling Mus the name, but nods and shares a look with Cora and says, I'm sorry, Moss, we have to go. I have that information that might be of interest to you, but thank you. And Trigger holds out a hand to shake.
That's
Moss.
okay. We don't need to do that, he says. Very clearly trying to be very nasty in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna roll in the conflict here as well.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is getting a lot for Trigger as well. And
Let's
Trigger
have you
might
roll, and then we'll kind of push the scene forward here, okay?
Yeah.
So that we can
Yeah.
bring Lark in.
Absolutely. What do I'm gonna roll with mad for sure.
Okay.
And yeah, let's do it in a conflict. So just so we know, if Trigger fails this, Trigger's gonna do something that they probably shouldn't.
Okay. Also, Cora, don't forget to mark an XP.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Trigger, that looks like a 10.
Yeah. So Trigger holds it together, withdraws their hand, clenches their fist, but says, "Okay, I will see you later, Moss. Goodbye.
Eh.
And turns to go.
Can I
Oh,
spend my last hold as we leave?
sure.
I think as we turn to leave, Ono turns back and looks Moss square in the eye and says, that just really wasn't very nice. And he put his hand on his shoulder and do the one harm thing.
What does that look like? Like when you deal that harm using your abilities, what do we see happen? Is it
Yeah.
just pain or is it something else?
Yeah, I think it's just pain. I think what you see is that his legs start to buckle a little, and maybe his eyes kind of roll back in there as he kind of stumbles down, maybe to his knees, and is just kind of stunned
Yeah.
there as we turn and walk out.
Okay. And I think we'll see the three of you exit stage left as you leave a Moss behind in the building to get out of there. So I'd like to kind of cut on that scene. And welcome Kale, welcome Lark. So what we're gonna do is you kind of know who the other characters are already. I know you've watched a little bit of it and looked at the character sheets. So why don't you tell us about your character, and then we'll talk about how we want to integrate that in and do those connections and so on.
Sure. Right. So Larkin Hayes is the catabolist. And so that's just the I guess the background on the playbook there is that well, in Lark's case, sorry, I'm
Sure.
I like did a bunch of research on the character, and then like we had these 2-week interim, and I'm like trying to get back, like back into it. So I guess let me the Lark believes that like the city, humanity has to embrace the confluence of the natural and the designed, or the the sort of man-made, in order to grow and sort of surpass the limits of both of those. And so he has been sort of off the beaten track of the sort of typical cybernetics, and is integrating both kind of bioengineering and cybernetics and sort of his own kind of research on all of that into himself. And so he's got a very sort of intertwined, intermixed, he's got cybernetic legs, but also like roots twining up through, like around his legs and up through his body, and like some avian features that he's kind of integrated in, it's around his eyes and his head. And so it's a very not disturbing, because we've sort of I sort of was following the kind of the wheel and the palette, and like he just not disturbing, but very distinctive look, sort of more so than a kind of typical cyberware might be.
So let me ask you this about how so we kind of established cyberware generally. We've seen the metal and the chrome and that kind of thing. And I think we've also seen in play the idea of some people being, a body sculpted a little bit. Do you think this idea of integrating like non-mammalian flesh, of plant stuff, is that normal? Is that unusual? Is that radical?
I think it's at least unusual.
Okay.
I think he's probably not the first person to have done it. But certainly I think it is not it's not something that you sort of see out and about in general. Most like I think I would say probably certainly like I think the sort of standard chrome style cyberware is maybe the most standard.
Mhm.
And then, some level of body sculpting. I missed the last. I haven't watched your last session, so I don't know how many characters we've sort of introduced with some level of body sculpting, but
Not much. Like, let me ask you this: do you imagine how common is it to have not just a question of having the plant stuff, but of having multiple different kinds of cyberware? Or do people mostly go in one lane, or they do the patchwork like you're doing? How unusual is that?
yeah, I think the patchwork is also sort of part of the um I think that has sort of taken Lark, and he is sort of trying to really push the envelope and explore that, like, intermixing, and how can we use these sort of the integration of all of this technology to really, like, enhance himself, and it really, and his goal is not just to um it's not just to enhance himself, but really to sort of present a model to to enhance humanity as a whole, right? Um this is a thing he is exploring, but with intent to um sort of push everyone forward, and kind of get um
So is it transhumanity that is about the integration of the sort of technical world, the world of flesh, and the world of nature together,
yeah.
like those things? Okay, okay. Um, so you have an Omni tool, like a tool that you use.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes. So the his Omni tool is a again, kind of, in much the same vein. It sort of intermixes features of, like, a dragonfly with also kind of a almost like a metallic scarab.
Mhm.
So it um that the Omni tool might fall into, like, a little bit more in the realm of creepy, right? It's got,
Okay.
maybe slightly too many limbs, and sort of very a little bit bug like. But it is able to sort of it's detachable, and it really is something he uses to help with his integration processes. And so, it's both a like a scout to help find new things to integrate, and also the sort of the bug limbs, and the pincers and whatever, like, those are integral in helping him um integrate sort of new both natural and technological features. um
So we've got a little bit of the kind of insectoid beetle color and a little bit of Cronenberg
yeah.
kind of together there. Okay, okay. And just so everybody knows, so the Catabolist has two main moves. One of them is kind of a startup session, but essentially when you go to a new place, the Catabolist gets to go and scrounge to generate their currency, which is scrap, and then they use that to build new cyberware for themselves. Um, how how long have you been engaged in this process? You say your character's there in like late 20s, early 30s. Has this been just a few years? Has this been since you came to adulthood? Is it been a longer process?
Yeah, I think I would say it's probably been in the, like, maybe, like, coming up on 10 years. It wasn't
Mhm.
like right at sort of adulthood. I mean, I guess I don't know how if we've established anything around sort of children and cybernetics versus, like, adults,
No, we
like,
haven't. Yeah.
where that time, timing, and when folks, I sort of imagine that teenagers probably are getting some cyberware, like, like you get a fancy new phone or something, right? Like, it's um that it, or you get your ears pierced, right? Like, there's some, like, I think you start to see that in that kind of older teen set into young adulthood. And so I think he probably, Larkin's probably started with that, in that sort of same vein. But the the investigation, the sort of digging into the the natural world and the sort of exploring where he could take it really picked up as he sort of moved out of into more sort of independence.
So it has really been about more experimentation and expression than out of a necessity to rebuild yourself. Like that has been your process. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it was started out of a a grievous injury or something else that needed repair or augmentation. It's really just about it's more of a sort of transcendence thing.
I dig it. We have our obligation questions. We have the previous PCs have some ones that were associated with the PC that is now out. And so what I'd like to do is let's look at your obligation questions to create a bond. And let's have you pick one of those that you want to talk about. Let me get that actually up on the sheet. I just realized I don't have that up. Get that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I put them. I copied a bunch of the stuff into the playbook notes.
Yeah.
Again, multiple weeks ago. So.
Okay. So let me pull this up.
Or maybe not. Yeah.
There's the catabolist. Okay.
Right.
Of course, it's right there. That on the playbook notes,
Okay.
column E.
Column E. Yes.
Yeah.
Got it.
So let's have everybody just give a quick elevator pitch again on themselves to remind you of who they are as you look at these. Cora, give us the elevator pitch on your character again.
Yeah, Cora's an empath, mid-20s ish. She is a performer by trade.
Okay.
And Trigger.
Trigger is changing, undergoing a transformation. They're early 20s, dark hair with like a leather jacket, which is kind of torn now, and street fashion, some metallic jewelry as well.
And Ono.
Yeah, Ono is the onomastic. I realized immediately in saying that but never mind. Sort of a mid-late 40s. They run a noodle cart. That's what their gig is, as they try to lay low and hide from the iconoclasts and live a somewhat normal life.
So yeah, Lark, which question do you want to start with? And you can say, oh, I think this might be this person, or you can put it out on the table for others to take.
Yeah. I was looking at the second question, which is if someone else helped you develop your Omni tool with or for you, the Mark I bond. I was kind of wondering. So I'm sort of like. It seems like Ono is maybe older than the rest of the folks, and I'm wondering if maybe I guess I don't know whether this is a thing that Ono would have been able to help with but again, maybe the onomastic has maybe your order has some sort of more knowledge there, and I'm sort of wondering if maybe you could have helped out as Lark was sort of starting into this exploration and sort of developing the Omni tool as a way to, again, sort of enhance his own abilities to enhance himself, whether Ono might have helped him kind of figure out how to make that work.
Yeah, I'm into that for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So you will mark one bond, Joe, with Lark then.
Sweet.
And let's do a second one of your questions, Lark, and then we'll check in with the other people about their other open questions.
Sure. Just wanted to record what we wrote.
Oh, sure, please.
So the other one that I just thought might that maybe I'll put out there is the third question about if you've repaired someone's cybernetics when they didn't have the means to do so themselves. That seems like it could apply to either Cora or Trigger. I don't know if either of you want to jump on that, but
Of those two, I'd prefer that one for Trigger than the of the two bond questions remaining. I'd prefer that one for Trigger than the other. So yeah, if that influences your preferences.
sure. And I don't. Do we need to actually have all three of these? Like, I don't want to have convinced anyone that.
So ideally,
it's fine. I have
yeah.
something for that first
Okay.
question.
Oh, good.
Perfect.
So Lark, you'll record a bond with Trigger.
Okay, where does that? Okay, so I go Trigger bonds 1.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
And then I want to come to the others back, and we'll finish your last one in a moment. Joe, you had some bond questions, and one of them was with Ina. So I want to give you the opportunity to kind of look back through your bond questions or the bond questions on another playbook, to like go the other direction, like a connection there with Lark.
Yeah, I actually was thinking, the one I had with Ina was if someone helped save you from the iconoclast, asking for nothing in return, you mark 1 bond with them. I felt like that might be a decent, based on just what we just talked about, might be a decent straight up swap for Lark, if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so do they mark a bond with you, or do you mark a bond with them on that one?
You mark 1 bond with them.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Trigger, what about for you?
Yeah, I had the same thing. That my third obligations question with Ina was if someone knows something important about your sickness you do not and is withholding that information from you, they mark 1 bond with you. And I think given that we've just established that Lark has repaired some of Trigger's cybernetics, maybe it was during that circumstance that they realized or discovered something important about their transformation.
What might that be?
So what do we know about Trigger's transformation so far? Sorry, I've missed.
No, I think that's a fair question here.
Good question. So we know that that it causes them to black out and to wake up in unfamiliar places and with people. It's caused bleeding and more recently a discoloration of the skin. So now Trigger's looking pale and a bit grey, and it causes their voice to fluctuate, to change a bit in pitch and timbre. It also has given Trigger exceptional strength and extrasensory perception. So that's as much as we know so far. There's been other things as well.
Symptoms regarding the fluctuations in the veil surrounding that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And some other outer character stuff like as well that are associated both with Cora and with Ono.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we established that there is some connection between your transformation and the cybertome.
And when Cora used the psychometry to try and figure out what was happening to Trigger during blackouts, someone saw her and shouted at her. That wasn't Trigger.
Okay. Well, so I wonder, if we're chronologically, if at the point that I was repairing Trigger's cybernetics, I already had my Omni tool, which we've already sort of established is a like doing things in that like interface between cybernetics and humanity and I guess non-humanity. I wonder if there is sort of a I guess I'm wondering whether maybe there's interplay of the cybernetics you have with the transformation that is happening that Lark has more of an understanding of than you do, but didn't share yet.
Let me suggest something here. I think your Omni tool kind of communicates with you. It gives you the data and so on. I think during the repair process, when Trigger was under, the Omni tool comes back to you and it gives you this weird reading that there was a brief period while you were doing the operation when Trigger's vitals and the readings and things drastically changed to like someone or something completely different and then changed back. And like I think it was a weird anomaly you probably didn't want to talk about and are trying to resolve. Does that seem fair?
Perfect.
Okay. And then
Sorry, and so I should mark another bond with you, Trigger. Is that right? So I'm up to 2.
Yep.
And I think
Correct.
likewise, oh no, you're up to 2 with me. Yeah, okay. Perfect.
And then Cora, what about for you for the bond question?
Yeah, so my hanging bond question is: if you've used the flow to take solace or comfort in one another in a time of need for you both, you each mark a bond with each other. I'm happy with that if you are.
Yeah. I'll admit I don't have a lot of like background event history that I've figured out for Lark yet. So
Yeah. So it just means I guess we have had an intimate moment for some level of intimacy where
Yep.
we've both been in trouble in some way, shape, or form, and we have enjoyed one another's company on a deeper level than most people do.
And that kind of plays into the bond question that you have left, which is
Yep. So my last one is: if you've convinced someone else of your ideology and they believe it is to their benefit, you mark 1 bond with them.
does that seem reasonable
Yeah,
for you,
so-
Cora?
Yeah, I mean, when I first looked at those questions, I was like, "Ooh, I hope I don't get the first one." And then the longer we talked about it, I was like, "Actually, you know what? Like, Cora is already like loaded with cybernetics, so why not change some of those into something closer to what Lark is doing?" And in that case, I think maybe it gives me for Cora, maybe the time of solace or comfort was being outperformed by others in her field, because a lot of the cybernetics that I've taken are related to how she performs. So I think maybe that was she ends up coming to you to help with that situation, and we grow close over that.
Cool.
Nice. All right. So I think that kind of gives us the basic set. What I want to do is I want to take our break here. We'll come back. I'll frame up where we're at, and we'll move to connect the trio with Lark, set the stage for what's going on, also get a sense of where Lark lives, that kind of thing set up. So let's take 10, and then we'll come back and continue on, okay?
See that?
Okay. So what I'd like for us to kind of in the meta say is that in the aftermath of talking to Moss, that the 3 of you decide that you might need some assistance, and you're all familiar with Lark, and I think that you go to track down Lark to help you out. Does that seem fair?
I can push that more extreme. You said that there was security potentially on the way.
Yeah.
What if Cora got injured and one of her pieces of cybernetics is damaged?
I'm willing to throw that to you. What is the montage of the 3 of you getting out of the building now that building security has been called? Like, what is it that you do that causes that injury, Cora?
I think we just try to run, and maybe they just take a snapshot at us as we're running.
Yeah. Simple stuff. You're on their territory. They're very efficient, highly paid private security. They take a few shots. Trigger, how do you help get everybody out of there?
I think literally, I mean, we could go even harder on this.
This is a
And
montage. Tell me how hard you want to go.
yeah, yeah. Well, if I think I'm assuming that Ono's okay. So like this is not like Trigger only has to picks up Cora and carries her out the and leaps out the building
Okay.
like with their they've got cybernetic legs that jump, and we've seen that before, and with exceptional strength. I think that with Ono, like in like the Trigger picks up Cora and uses their cybernetics and strength
Just
to
a
get
running
them all
leap
out.
out through the glasswork,
Yeah.
opens up classically onto the city around you. You land on some passing elevated train before it heads on. And Ono, how do you just head back to your asylum, or do you also follow? What is your
Yeah, well, given all that thing, I was jokingly in my head thinking that being the pseudo geriatric of the crew, that I just walk out like I'm just not part of the thing and just walk right by them all and
I think
and hobble out and just meet up with them later.
so. Let's then cut. Lark, where do you think you live? I mean, are are you doing well? Do you have a lab? Are you, are you in a apartment? Are you living in the down below where, the organic and the roots start for the tree systems? Where do you think you are?
Yeah, so I think I think Lark does sort of live down in that sort of interstitial area, right? Like he wants access to, the upper floors and the sort of the whatever bespoke technology he can get out of that. But he also wants to sort of have that, sort of be in the natural and be able to explore that easily. Um, I was thinking about, you sort of said that, hey, what does Lark, as we're leaving, like what does Lark do? And I sort of wonder whether I guess I'm sort of thinking maybe the um the thing that he helped Cora with, like, and maybe Lark is actually a sort of black market's not the right the right term, but sort of a bespoke
Gray market,
yeah, gray
bespoke.
market, bespoke, cyberware, like the you come to Lark for the unusual cyberware requests, right? Like, and you're not always going to get, maybe it's not always going to be sort of the explicitly top of the line, but he can do a lot with sort of what he has available.
So yeah, we're in a post-scarcity society, but it does mean that you get what you get. So in order to get more interesting things, you absolutely have to kind of go, off the grid to these places. And I imagine that we've described before that there's kind of the skyscrapers and stuff, and we've got the base level of the city, and there are plants growing up along that. And then you go down, another layer, and we've got some of the buildings, but we've also got a lot of where the growth is coming from, the hydroponics. It goes down deeper to where some of the deeper roots are. But this is a place that is a winding mix, like yourself, of the technological and the organic. So describe your lab. I mean, and it could be, in a tree or whatever. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so I think when you're coming in sort of in, that the access is through, so like a sub basement of some building somewhere, right? And you kind of open the door. It's relatively nondescript. Um, and you end up sort of going through almost what feels like a tunnel that is where you're almost you know, the tree roots are kind of starting to weave in through the sides of the you know, the corridor. And I think Lark has sort of helped them along, right, and sort of integrated. And so the actual, like, you get into Lark's lab, and I think a lot of the furniture is sort of natural wood, or maybe even built into the, you know, into the sidewalls. But there's also you know, kind of the accoutrement of a more you know, like high tech cyberware lab. You've got the, you know, you've got the table with the, you know, the gleaming scary claws, and you know, the things that you need to do sort of the like operation part of that, and the, you know, the various instruments and monitors and everything else, so that, you know, when someone is under, they can keep them healthy, as well as do whatever augmentation needs to happen.
Do you think that it is cool down here, or is it wet, warm, humid, or is it climate controlled? What's the feeling when they come down here?
I think as you get more into the lab and sort of out of the, you know, out of the sub basement, I think the sub basement is probably in the like cool, almost clammy. And as you get more into the wood, it's actually more, it gets a little bit more humid, a little bit warmer. You know, it's not, you know, it's still sort of in that like underground, you know, so it's not hot, but it's definitely more in the sort of you know, maybe a little bit in that sort of rainforest undergrowth, like, type climate.
Absolutely. A little bit of trapped heat down here. You know, there is a lot of vegetation. It is not microclimate controlled like it is up top with scheduled rains and so on. So I think we see the four of you there. By the way, I will be saying potentially through the course of this, the R word, root, and that will expose my Hoosier accent. So if I say that, that's actually, I'm saying root, but that's my accent coming through. So I'm going to apologize right now. So I think we'll see Cora, like, what got damaged, Cora, that Lark is working on?
Yeah, so she has something in her chest that helps with balance, adrenaline management, and it's her oxygen backup. So I think if all three of those things are on the fritz, she's you know, not able to breathe properly. Her heart is racing like crazy, and she can't figure out which way is up at this point. So she's almost delirious and passed out.
And I think we're coming in at the end of those repairs. And Trigger, I think this is kind of like the last scene was your responsibility, taking your group there, and then it kind of went a little bit off. So what are you telling Lark about what's going on and why this is all happening?
Is this while Cora's flat on the table with
I assume Cora is. This is during the post-op period here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got, you know, like, I think Lark is, you know, the Omni tool is helping out, you know, is helping, you know, the process to get Cora under, but I think Lark is a little bit alarmed and very curious about, you know, what it is that, you know, like, well, first of all, what did Cora do to just, you know, destroy all this nice hardware of hers, and also, like, what are you all doing to get her in this sort of situation? Like, what?
Yeah, I think Trigger's very apologetic. It's I think it's like I think maybe they Trigger says is talking to Lark and Ono and say, I feel terrible about what happened with Moss. I I did not think it would go like that. It is all my fault. I thought I could just talk to him. I didn't think that we would get into any more trouble. He's really not always such an asshole. I feel bad for him. He actually, he obviously still has feelings for whiskey, and I'm sorry. I lost my. I'm sorry you had to do that, Ono, to him.
Trigger, what deal did you make?
And Trigger kind of can't look. It is avoiding eye contact. Moss wanted me to stay away from whiskey so that he could be with her.
But you love her. Why would you do such a thing?
Well, I didn't agree with it.
But didn't
I
you?
was well, I kind of lied to him at there. I had whiskey was angry with me for spending so much time with you and Cora. And I know that it's especially Cora.
Yeah.
She wouldn't talk to me. That's what I needed to talk to Desi about. She convinced Whiskey to come and talk to me. I thought that it was over, but we were able to fix things, I think. I do care about Whiskey a great deal, and I did not want to see her with Moss. But I had to find out about my parents and about the building, so that's why I lied.
Or I'd like to imagine that this is probably about the time that you've kind of come around after the surgery. Lark has just finished up, as Trigger is kind of not confessing, but kind of apologizing here. So what's your reaction to that?
Need better friends, Trigger. Or at least one better than that one.
Yes, well, I'm glad I have you. Sorry. Can Lark is Cora going to be okay?
Yeah, I don't see any reason we can't get her all fixed up. There was definitely some not insubstantial damage to the this the stuff you got going on in there, Cora. But yeah, no, you're on the mend.
Yes, Cora is in great danger, Lark.
What? Wait, so you're gonna have to fill me in a little bit on this Moss character. I mean, is he really like? Did Cora get shot over a love triangle? Is that what I'm hearing? Like, Or is there something
No.
else? Is there something more going on that I've missed?
You know that explosion that happened the
Yeah,
other day? Yeah, that
yeah, of
that
course.
was at my parents' building. We've it seems that whoever set that explosion off, well, I think they might be called, what was it? Oh no, was it
The Blackwells?
Black
Black
Law.
Black
Law.
law.
Black
the
Law.
Black Law? Yes, the Black Law. They seem to be connected with Moss's employers. Sorry, my throat is a bit sore. And you can see Trigger sweating, like, and looking really grey in this warm environment, and clearly struggling. And kind of, do you have some water? I need a drink.
Oh
And looks
yeah.
to Cora to, is Cora awake enough to take over the narrative?
Nora?
Yeah. The As Trigger said, the building wasn't an accident. Or if it was an accident, then somebody was ready to capitalize on it. They predicted it. We're not sure. We've been chasing down some leads, but it does seem like there is a company involved. They're targeting empaths. They want empaths to be frightened, and they're planning to use them somehow.
That's not good. That's no, that
I mean, these people, if they triggered that explosion on purpose, they callously murdered hundreds of people, tens of people, many people.
and so what do you know about this Black Law character group? Is it a company? Is it a person?
We only just heard the name from Trigger's friend. We'd connected it to a mimetic engineer. They led us to the Church of Convergent Science, and then through Trigger's contact, we connected that back to Blacklaw. I
So
think
they're
those are all the links in the chain that we have.
so that's the next step then, is we need to find out something, huh?
We'd appreciate some help if you've got the time.
Yeah, I mean if someone's willing to blow up a building just to scare empaths, to convince empaths to do something, I mean, who knows what they're going to do next. I think, yeah.
So this feels like a good place. Maybe we move to a little mechanical here. We have some information gathering moves to answer some questions. So, Ono, why don't we start with you? Like how do you go about this? Are you talking to people? Do you have a contact? Are you just researching? Like, how are you tracking down information? Are you consulting with your spirits? What do you think?
I think it's a good question. My first thought was you going out on into the veil, right?
Mhm.
Like they do in that almost meditative sort of searching way to glean any sort of, we know all of these things that are loosely connected, and I think you know, they will go out into the veil to in an attempt to put them together in a way that helps us understand, you know, fill in, you know, like the pieces, right? I
Sure.
think we have pieces, but there's some key missing elements there.
So that's lift the veil as a move. What do you want to roll that with?
Sorry. I think peace. I think that's the sort of peace or power. I don't want to metagame this and always choose power, but that feels a little bit
Here's
like
the thing: is you will burn yourself out if you go
true.
down one road, and I am more than happy to have you do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do power because I think
Okay.
it's reflective of him engaging in, or them engaging in their sort of
Okay.
ways.
Sure. Add a tick to power and take a tick off of fear and make that roll. Roll with a +2. That's a 10.
I'm getting no experience today.
Yeah.
So
So
close.
so tell me, what is your question? Like what is your first question? You're going to get a question, you're going to get a follow-up. And you right now you can with this basic move, we'll give you something you know, and then I just kind of want to know what it is you want to learn here first.
I think they are, I am most interested in um I'm most interested in a way to um get sort of inside the church.
Church of
It's,
Convergent Science.
yeah, inside being in like capital I inside, not
Right.
necessarily literally inside, but maybe it literally inside, right? So because I think we're getting to the point where we know it. Black law may have done the dirty, right? But it's all in service of something to do with the church, right? I mean, I think that's where we're headed.
That is certainly a way to read that. Yes.
So yes.
The very GM answer.
Yeah, sorry. So one of the things you will discover is that you do have those major offices that Cora had staked out before. And it is a place that has a lot of back and forth. They have recruitment seminars there, they have training there. It is very porous in that sense. And I think that you can discover a few, contacts that you have, such that you can fake your way in reasonably. Uh, you know, basically walk around before you're confronted by security, kind of thing. So access is not too much of a problem. Now you rolled a 10 plus, just giving you some information. So you can ask another question, or you can also declare a detail. You're muted.
I'm also open to, does anybody have any group think on this about what we want to follow up with? Or even if we want to declare something.
Can we figure out somebody higher up that is more involved in this campaign that Moss was talking about, maybe.
Yeah, how about this? What if in declaring something here, a detail, what if one of Ono's like regular customers that they have sort of a that sort of regular type rapport, with, is somebody of some not high but maybe medium level in the church, that we could try to exploit that.
Yeah, I think you can get essentially a management pastor that is at a medium tier level, who likes to impress people, may not actually have that much authority, but likes to throw it around, and we'll call them Chihabra. And Chihabra, very, very into that, knows you, likes your food, is a good contact that you have, that you think like they can get you in with no problem. Does that seem fair? So we've got that established. Does anyone else want to do an information gathering move, a lift a veil or an assess or something like that? We've also got the move of essentially declaring a contact as well. Trigger?
I had a question for Mike. Does Cora know any other empaths? Is Mercury an empath? And does Cora know any others?
Yeah, Mercury is. We've established that she's had fleeting contact with other empaths, but I don't know that she has regular contact with anybody. I think they try to stay relatively isolated so that they don't all get rounded up.
Mm-hmm. But I was wondering if there was one that Cora knew of who she might be concerned had been caught up in this. It's if not, or not, like it's perfectly. That was just something that I was curious about.
I think that makes sense, because I mean, of the empaths we know from a story perspective, it's really, it's Cora and Mercury, and neither of them are likely to get caught up in the things happening with Blacklaw. So it makes sense to introduce another empath that could potentially fall for that, either intentionally because it helps us, or because it helps us to advance the story a little.
So that's Link. You introduce a new NPC. Like, what is your connection with them?
Sorry, can I jump in a second? So Cora, I noticed, so you have a lot of cybernetics. I don't know, is that typical of empaths? Or is that a Cora thing specifically? Like, I don't know I don't know what the connection is between the sort of empaths and cybertech, and how much is it connected to the veil and other things, but like,
I would say it's not typical, but only because we just established that Cora is more invested in cybernetics from her contact with Lark. So
fair. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was like most empaths have a lot of cybertech, in which case maybe Lark would have another empath might have had passing contact with another empath that we could pull in that way, or we can go the other direction from, just because you said you had just sort of already established that maybe Cora doesn't have a lot of contact with other empaths directly.
How do you want to handle that, Cora? What would be your preference?
I'm happy for it to come via Lark.
Okay. So we're still with Link here, with establishing that. So it is an NPC. Like, who are they, and how do you know them?
So I'm going to ask one more question, which is how I got the impression that empaths are not sort of terribly open about their abilities, right? Because it's sort of not a is there something like, is there something that I would have seen while working on the cybernetics of another empath, that like would they have had to have revealed themselves to me? Would I have been able to figure something out during the like cyberware process? I guess I'm sorry, I'm digging in a lot into the like what are empaths and how do they work?
No,
But
no, that's fine. So I would potentially offer that maybe there is something that the Omni tool was able to pick up, and maybe like didn't know what it was the first time that they saw it, but then having seen it again in Cora and then discovering that she was an empath, maybe Lark was able to connect those dots and go, oh, I can actually detect this, and I think I've seen another one.
yeah, I like that. Okay, so this was someone that I maybe worked on a while ago, and if we're sort of now connecting the dots that maybe this is another empath. Please save me from having to come up with a name.
Yeah, I have I have a list. So let's call them Vilpin Row.
Open.
Vilpin Row.
Vilpin. Okay. And let's see. So I'm going to. Is this a roll with something, or is it just a straight?
Yeah. So with Link, as with most rolls, you're going to choose which state you want to roll with, and then put a check by it.
Okay. So, sorry, I'm investigating the wheel here. I think that this is going to be a roll with Joy.
Okay.
Because I think in some ways this is almost a. I think the this discussion of empaths and having just worked on Cora, I think Lark is like literally just sort of putting together this empath, Omni tool, like what the Omni tool picked up, like sort of as we speak. And so it's this sense of like a new discovery around cybernetics and how it connects to, sort of that empath state, and that's a very human thing. And so I think that's yeah. So I think we're rolling with Joy here.
Okay.
So I will check that off and do a +2. A 9.
A 9. So on a 7 to 9, when we look at that, for the other moves, it's a little bit strained. So you have a debt pool.
Yep.
You'll write Vilpin in there, and put 1 tick on your debt clock.
Okay.
And I think that you are reaching out to Vilpin to check in with them. I think that Cora, you know them tangentially. Does that seem fair? So I imagine that they're on essentially on speakerphone, and Vilpin's we'll say she, her, she says, oh, hey, Lark, why are you calling me?
I'm trying to. So I'm trying to think how where the strained or frayed part of the relationship was coming from. I'm sort of wondering whether.
I think it's that maybe there's a little bit of money owed, and that has created that kind of tension. And she's like, I'll get you the money when I can. Right now, I'm kind of in a tight situation. You know how it is.
You know what, ordinarily, Vilpin, this might be a call on that front. I know you're good for it. I know you'll get it to me. I need to ask you I guess a more delicate question.
Okay. Hang on. Let me step out of the room. They're doing a seminar. So hang on. Let me go out in the hall.
Sorry, who's doing a seminar?
I probably shouldn't say.
Sorry, out of character. What is the name of the? It's the Church of the
Church of Convergent Science.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is where I think Lark's gonna. I think we're gonna name drop that and see if I can startle confession out of, or startle something out of her.
Yeah. How did you know I'm there?
Let's just say that I've been looking into them a bit and thought they might have reached out to you.
It's really bad out there. There's broadcasts and broadsheets and stuff in the Vale, and they're pointing fingers. And like, I tried to talk to some people in my position, and they've gone underground, and it's just real bad right now. And I talked to a friend, and they knew that this place looks out for, let us say, gifted people like myself.
Philpin,
Oh,
it's
hey, Cora.
Cora here. What are they promising you?
They're offering us protection, essentially a chance to lay low during the time while this is all happening. They apparently got a facility set up to to take care of people. I think it's like some sort of old soup kitchen or something. I don't know. It's a churchy thing.
If we want to talk to other people in that, where do they have you set up?
Well, right now, I'm just outside of the seminar room. They've got a couple other people in there. I actually, they're kind of waving me back in. So I got to make this quick. Was there something you needed, Lark?
All right, so sorry, out of character. I've lost the thread. What are we trying to get out of Vilpin here? Are we looking for the location of the, like, the holding pen, or like, are we looking for?
That's the I'm wrestling with that, and maybe this isn't in a conflict for Cora, because on the one hand I want to know that information. On the other hand, I want to tell my friend to run the hell the other way.
Yeah. So what do you want to roll that inner conflict with?
I'm gonna roll it with sad, because I think this is, for Cora, this goes against every instinct that she has to try and help somebody in need, and she's trying to justify it to herself with this being the greater need, but I'm putting a friend in danger for this. So +2 on the roll would be an 11.
What is the right thing to do?
I don't know.
You said earlier that you thought you were going
Yeah.
against your instincts. Do you think
Yeah,
the
so
right thing
then-
is to tell her to get out of there?
Yeah, so I think I will. Whether or not she'll listen to me. Philpin, turn your back and just start walking. Get out of there as quickly as you can. Those people, they don't mean you well. You're not safe there.
And you can get the sense in the veil of stuff that she's walking down a hall now, and she goes, "Look, they've got security all around here. Are you saying this is bad? Are you saying that this is a trap? Like, are they going to cut my head open? Like, what's going on?" Hey, hi, just walking. Bathrooms over here. Okay, yeah, okay. And then you hear kind of the sound where the because she's clearly in a restroom, like I need your help to get out of here.
People that want to help you don't round people up and put them in camps.
Well,
Historically.
Look, I'm already past that. Like, I've made that jump. You're saying that somebody's bad here. Like, I'm in a bathroom. I'm on like the 6th floor. They've got security here. Like, do I go and sit back? Like, what am I supposed to do now?
Just tell them that you're not feeling well and that you need to leave. We'll come get you.
You think that'll work?
It's going to have to. I don't have a better idea.
Let's. Okay, Lark, you're right. You cool with this? Is this the right thing?
Yeah, what you see if we will we're on our way. Try and get yourself as far out as you can, and we'll try and make contact when we get close.
Okay. And she'll sign off, since it is a little vulnerable to be on the Vale in a place like that. So what do you all want to do?
We've got to go.
Yeah, I mean,
The question is, what do we do when we get there? I mean, do we just roll up on this building, walk in, say, yeah, our friend is sick, we've come to pick her up?
Well, we've already, like, Ono concluded that we could at least walk in with some level of impunity, right? There's enough sort of an open, open traffic that
walking in is very easy.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's what I was.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to suggest. Perhaps Ono could go in, because they could use, they could, if they wanted to and needed to, use the asylum if things got hairy, to get themselves out of there with or some of us could go in, but if we get separated, I don't know if we could do something where a couple of us went in and the others did something from a support perspective, maybe I don't know, a distraction, a diversion.
Are you going to call on your contact?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start from there. From that position. Well, imagine the group is on the move. I don't think any of you have a vehicle. So I do imagine that there is the heading up to the surface level, the getting on the various network public transports, and heading over there. And you'll call up Chihabra. And Chihabra says, "Oh, it is my favorite noodle seller. How is it that you are calling me on such a day? This is very unusual."
Yeah. You're always talking about what you do. And I think about it a lot. I was
wondering, are you having a crisis of conscience?
Maybe.
Hold on. Let me pull that up. Okay. So how are you feeling?
Well, I don't really know, but maybe it would help me if we could do this in person, that I could come
Absolutely. See him moving his flow chart along. Absolutely. Meeting in person is a great next step in this process.
Can I come now?
Absolutely. Come now. I will come and meet with you in the lobby. Are you nearby?
Close, yes.
Good. All right, I will meet you there. I am looking forward to having the chance to help you become clear.
I look forward to being clear.
So yeah, we've established this is a large corporate building. Cora watched it, did a surveillance on it before. People are coming in and out. It's very much glass and steel, but as with all these buildings around here, bounded with various, hanging ivy and plants and things like that, and hydroponic systems on the outside. But it's definitely, that first floor is very much anybody can come in, look at the literature, go to the church services, that kind of thing. So I guess the question becomes, we know that Ono is going to go in. Are you taking someone with you? Like, as if, oh, this is my friend who's with me, or are you going by yourself? Let me ask that question first.
I think I like the idea of someone else coming as well.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I was kind of thinking Trigger. I don't know why that popped into my head, but it felt like maybe but I'm open to whatever, so.
Well, I was just going to say, because we established that Vilpin has previous contact with Cora and Lark, I was just on the phone with them, that it could or
That's a good
should
idea.
possibly be one of them. But by the same token, maybe we can put some kind of symbol or sign on you that Vilpin would recognize, that marks you as being a
I didn't
friend.
think about that. So, like I said,
I want it to be Lark just because that's the new character and I want to see more of him.
yeah.
Well, I'm wondering. Yeah, I was going to say maybe Lark is the right person to go into the lion's den, as it were, since Cora is an empath and thus already more at risk from interactions with these folks.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. So we'll say that Ono and Lark are heading in. Trigger, Cora, are you also like on site but not going up, or are you staying back? Okay, so you two are heading in, mingling with the people who are there.
Well, could Velpin mentioned being on the 6th floor.
Yeah.
Is there a way, like, is there a building close by, or like a transport stop on that level that we could assess?
So you're saying to me you would like to figure out a way to break into the 6th floor, is what you're telling me.
I didn't say that, but I did say that.
So would you like to make an assess roll? You would like to?
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that.
So let's start with that. Let's start with the case the joint, with that, and then we'll move Ono and Lark in, and then we'll figure out what you're doing. Sound good?
Sounds good, except can I just say that Cora's already cased the joint previously, so maybe Cora could either make the roll or gain a bonus.
I will give you
or
plus one forward, because we did have a scene of Cora doing that. How's that sound? So
is it good with you, Mike?
Yeah.
Did you want to make the roll? Or is it Trigger who's doing this?
As long as Cora is not using one of any of the left-hand stats, we're fine, right?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Is if I do anything, it's likely to spike me out at this point. So I can't think of a good reason to do anything on the right-hand side just yet.
So Trigger.
Okay. So Trigger's doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool, because I think Trigger's keen to be like is the one who's conceived of this possibility. And is asking Cora, gets Cora's help.
So let's have you roll. What are you going to roll with?
I think power. Let's
take a tick off of fear, roll with a +2, and then I have a question for Cora.
Okay. No, that's a 6.
Now let's look and see.
That's 2 6s in a row with a +2.
Okay. Cora, would you like to roll help?
Yeah, I would.
What do you want to roll help with?
I'm gonna roll it with fear because I'm really worried about my friend right now.
Okay. Let's have you make that roll.
That's 2d6 + 1. 5.
So the good news
I
is
am two
both
back.
of you get to mark XP.
Woo.
Right.
And the
We're off
good
to a
news
good
is
start.
you
It fills
find
my XP.
a
Yes.
very easy access way to get in on the 6th floor.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Like there's it kind of move in, and there's a transport walkway, and then you can get up into an area. It will look, if anybody sees you, you're very clearly not like doing something illicit, but you can get in if nothing goes wrong. Sound reasonable?
We can't wait for. Oh no, we've got to get up there.
Cora, tell me, what gifts does Vilpin possess?
Ooh, good question.
Clearly not
Let
truth
me-
sensing.
No. Let me check the list of things.
And you can just find it however you want, any kind of psychic ability or psionics or however you want to say.
I want to give her the charge objects kind of deal, just in case she needs it to get out of the building. There was there's one that's specifically about being unnoticed, which I'm tempted to say just because it will give her an easier time. But
But a little bit of psychometry and like mechanical empathy, that kind of thing.
yeah,
Okay. So let's cut to Lark and Ono. You've come in the front doors there, and almost immediately, Chihabra is over there, effusively greeting you. Ono, how are you? How are you doing?
I apologize right now. I have one of my dogs being a little ornery right here. So
Fair
if you
enough.
hear that that's what the strange noise. That's what that is.
Rich Rogers has a Chihuahua. I'm used to this.
There you go. What's the name again? I keep thinking chupacabra every time you say it.
Oh, that's what
I
some
know it
people
is
say.
not
No,
that.
it is Chihabra.
Chupacabra. Okay, sorry. Is it? Chabra. Hello. This is my friend Lark. They're also not clear, so
Oh.
I thought that you could help them too, maybe.
I am very glad that you brought a friend. Hello, Mr. Lark. That is an amazing array of cyberware that you have there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very striking. Why don't we go over here to one of the privacy cubicles, and we can talk about what's going on, what you're feeling. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, sure. But like, maybe we could like go. Also, like, could we maybe walk and talk, and maybe you could show us kind of around. You talk about everything all the time. When you come to eat, I think it would be nice also to just see what you do.
So this feels to me like you're trying to angle, you're trying to get him to move you around here freely without any question. That certainly feels like a sway.
Yes. What am I gonna roll that with? I don't know. The only thing, power again is the only thing that sounds good right now. I'm not afraid, not sad. Joyful, mad. I'm not mad, not yet. Let's do that
Okay.
and get closer and closer to Spike Out.
Absolutely.
I want to fail a roll. All right.
I also wish you to fail a roll, but you're going to be this. So
7.
I think that you kind of have to like really lean into it a bit with this, that whole giving a piece of yourself to them. And I think that they say, well, absolutely, we can walk. I do need, if we're going to go upstairs, I do need to get your ident on the pass. And he'll hold out a pad. Clearly, they're going to want to record your biometrics and such before you'll be able to walk around here. Are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we gotta commit here, and it's we're gonna get
Great. Just
have trouble for it later.
And then scroll down to the bottom and just hit I agree. And already you can see like some of the pop-up blockers in your veil, like are like hitting against that. And he'll say, yeah, let's walk. And he'll begin to walk you through the halls of this place. He's what our church is, a multifaceted, visionary, a religious institution that works on a personal management and the idea that there is a singularity, but the singularity is inside you. And that is where science converges, is in that self-singularity. Everyone is their own singularity.
Wow.
So tell me about what the two of you are going through. What's the story that you're feeding him?
Well, I feel like I've lost my purpose. Now, I enjoy cooking noodles. And
He's a very good cook. You're very excellent.
But lately it just seems unfulfilling.
Interesting. Did something happen?
Well, I don't know. I feel perhaps like I'm running from something all the time.
Interesting.
I don't know what that might be, but it is the sense of I'm always looking over my shoulder.
I understand. And you, Mr. Lark, what is your turmoil right now?
I think like you say, I am really looking to approach the singularity within myself. That's been a personal goal of mine. Now, as we are walking through the halls, I think I might want to make 2 rolls.
Okay.
Because I would like to send the Omnitool, who I feel like I need to give a name at some point down the line here, but
Definitely.
I haven't. I think it is going to go off. So it's remote, and so I would like to use it as a sort of third wing of our scouting party, both to look for Vilpin. So that is probably maybe lift the veil, but also to like scour whatever back rooms it can get itself into, and if there's any interesting tech that Kansai has here, like So I'm looking to do both I'm looking to fail both a scrounge roll and a lift the veil roll.
Let's start with the scrounge roll.
Perfect. So it is remote. So the detachable gives me a +1. I guess it's +1 forward when I use it to help scrounge. So I don't know. Yep. Is that on the scrounge roll or is that on
the scrounge move? Yeah.
Okay. I just wasn't sure what the +1, whether the +1 is on the scrounge or after the scrounge on other things.
No.
Like
basically it gives you a bonus on the scrounge and also gives you fictional positioning for it being remote.
Perfect. Okay. So we'll roll a 2d6 +1 for the scrounge.
Okay.
That's an 11.
So you get 2 scrap,
2 scrap.
It's back rooms. They've got a lot of that kind of tech for doing like measurements, the devices that they hook up and things like that they've got left out in boxes and things that some of that looks nice.
All right.
Grab
So
up a
we'll
little
just,
bit of that.
yeah, we'll pick a few of those up. Right. And so the other thing that I'm hoping to catch is some whiff of where Vilpin might be, or a path, it's like something to kind of get us
Yeah, I think this is right now you have a pretty specific goal, which is to get to where Vilpin is, like get as close as possible. So I think this is actually more like a risk roll that you're using to get there.
Sure.
So let's have you roll that.
All right. So I was going to roll that with what was I thinking? I think this is I think we're looking at power here.
Okay.
This is I think Lark is very very confident in his Omni tool and sort of the ability it can bring to bear.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna check a power, and that's a +1. So we'll do another 2d6 +1. There we go. There's the experience.
Okay. So the good news is you get to mark experience. Let me pause here. You are up a few floors. You are deep, as they say, in the bowels of this building. You've seen as you've gone up, there are fewer like general, like civilians around, and more like staff members and armed people, like security people around. And you're probably like up on that 4th floor. Trigger, Cora, what went wrong? Like what went devastatingly wrong with this entry? Like, how did you get 110% spotted? Ideas? Cora, let me start with you.
Yeah, so for starters, Cora just got out of surgery like an hour ago. So she's probably not moving with the speed and grace she would be normally used to. She may actually be bleeding blood somewhere.
You like look down, you realize you got that blood on you. You're like, oh boy. Okay. Getting a little that little woozy there.
Mm-hmm.
And Trigger.
Yeah, I'm thinking that they clearly have security systems in place to warn um to alert them that if for intrusion. I think I kind of think that the Church of Convergent Science is too devious to just have repelling or prevention. I think they want to draw threats inside so that they can deal with them. Um,
Easy to get
so
in.
yeah, I think we get inside. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
you
I
are,
think.
are inside, you're in a hall, you're walking down, you're like, okay, we're on the 6th floor. You're trying to contact Gilpin, but you're not getting anything on the veil. Like it's jammed or something. And I think that's the point at which you see a group of people, security people, step out from around corners, and they've got essentially stun pistols and tase batons, and they are very much in the mode of they're going to take you down, and then the alarms go off, and I think we're going to deal that scene, but that is like what you hear downstairs on the 5th floor is the alarms go off, and you know that things have gone wrong. Trigger, what do you do? 3 guys, batons, stun guns.
Yeah, triggers. I'm wondering if I've got an advance, if there's a move that I can use to get us out of this situation. Um, I'm thinking, I'm thinking that maybe the Grace and Trigger gets a gift. And we see this gift now on display.
Okay.
It's like maybe due to the pressure of of the of this situation of like that they're at serious risk.
Yeah. So
And
what gift is that?
I think it's the that's such
There's some really wondrous ones, and I want you
some
to
really
tell.
good ones here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm thinking wow. I want something that can help both me and Cora. So I think something that I look around, is there anything like is there a vent like or a is there a vent that looks like it's large enough, like a air conditioning
Oh,
duct
of
or
course there
something that
is. This is
yeah, yeah,
sci-fi
yeah.
film. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course
yeah,
there's an
yeah.
event big
Totally,
enough. What do you want
totally.
to do?
So I think this is and let's say that it's quite a large room. I think this is I think I think I think I think Trigger wants to leap up into the dark into this
What gift
vent.
are you gaining? Tell me which gift you're taking.
Yeah, I think it's unnatural movement. And I'm
Okay.
capable of or maybe it's I think yeah, it's definitely unnatural movement, but I want or uh I'm just I'm trying to think. I actually think that you know what? Would this be able to help? I wanted to be able to help Cora escape as well.
If
So
you take essentially a natural movement that you can scuttle along walls as if they were
was
surface like that, you could easily
yeah,
grab Cora and make a risk
yeah,
roll to try and smash yourself into the vent and get into their aliens versus predator style here.
yeah. How does that sound, Cora?
It sounds good because anything I roll is gonna spike me out at
Yeah.
this point. So
All right, let's do that.
So this is risk.
which I'll probably do in a minute.
Risk. What do you want to roll that with?
Um, I think it's fear.
Okay.
Yeah, or power actually. I
Yeah.
actually think that it's power. This gift and the transformation that is going on is making them feel powerful in this moment.
Absolutely.
A power that they didn't know they had. So let's do 2d6 plus 1. I think it's 1. Yep. Okay, let's do it. Risk roll. Come on, not a 6. It's an 8.
So
It's
that is
better.
an 8. So you will grab up Cora and leap, bounce, move up that wall, knock that vent open, and clamber in. I do think the cost is I'm going to deal a couple harm to you in the
Okay,
process. Does that seem fair? Like a fair cost here?
totally.
Cora,
Absolutely.
no one should move like this. Trigger grabs you and then bounces, clambers, skittles like a spider up those walls into that vent and drags you in there into the darkness of it. What do you do?
Good question. I think she's upset in this situation, although we were probably in an awful lot of danger just then. It's like we can't leave. We can't leave yet. We've got to get Vilpin out.
We have to. But if we get caught, we won't be any help to Velpen. Come, we have to go. And you can see Trigger sweating and looks even grayer than they did before.
Again, there's poor lighting in an air duct.
Yeah, it must be.
It's not well lit in here.
Yeah.
I would like to ultimately. I would like to. I'd like to assess the location using psychometry and see if I can feel where Vilbin received the phone call from us.
That
Because
seems
we
like a good call. Let's have you roll.
delivered some bad information there, and I'm gonna have to spike out fear to do it. So
Yep. You get to
do
roll
I
the fear at
get to
whatever
roll
it is
first?
right now, and then it
Okay.
turns bad.
Yep. All right. That's a 9.
That is a 9. So you have a choice with that as we look at assess. You've got 1 hold or 2 hold if you pay a cost. And you can ask a question or declare a detail. I think you know that she is still on this floor.
Okay. Yeah.
And
So then the
Sorry, I was
Sorry.
going to say +1 plus another hold because you use psychometry, right?
I get one anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
Psychometry.
Yeah, so you have 3 hold. 2 hold or 3 hold if you want to pay a cost.
Offer me a cost.
Oh, well, I think you'll realize that there are several other
Mm-hmm.
empaths here.
I'll pay that cost.
Okay. I think you'll get that ping. Like you ping, like your psychometry goes out, you ping a Gilpin, but then you also ping 3 other people that you get that reaction that you know. But you've got 3 hold now.
Okay, so I will. Can I declare a detail that the vent we're in will get us closer to where Vilpin is? That we're headed
Absolutely. In
the right
fact, it
direction.
actually like you can see that if you continue down this vent, you will end up in the restroom that Gilpin has holed herself up in.
Okay.
You've got 2 more hold.
2 more.
I'm going to take a +1 forward for your next action.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you've got 1 more hold.
I would like to know where the other 3 are in relation to where we're headed.
I think that you're heading down to the restroom, and she didn't go that far down the hall. They are still in a seminar room that is probably locked now that the alarms have gone off.
Right.
So you have their relative positions. Lark and Ono, the alarms go off, and I think you know that is a bad news. Ono, what do you do?
So I think as soon as the alarm goes off, Ono kind of grabs
Chihabra?
Chihabra up by the shoulders and starts saying, "Is that the singularity? I hear it. I hear it. Is it my singularity? I hear it. I hear it."
Are you trying to distract him? Are you trying to get him to do something?
So,
what is it?
So while they're doing this, they're turning them away, and he and kind of doing this to Lark to like go, right? And so
Oh no, let's have you roll. What do you want to roll that with?
I'm thinking that they are so invested in this this use of their stuff, I'm gonna spike out on power.
Okay.
So it's the +2 for now, right?
Yeah. And then it'll become not +2.
And then maybe I'll fail. 10.
So that is a 10. So I think you absolutely have a hold of him. You have 3 hold. You've confused them. I think you've given an opportunity for Lark. And I think you even still have another hold after that. But he's essentially like, no, calm down. Everything is fine. And he's focused on you completely. And Lark.
So Yeah, so I will certainly take this opportunity to make a break for it, trying to get, again, to the like upper floors to find Vilpin. I did have a question though, which is,
Yeah.
have we already accounted for the failure on the risk roll that I made prior to switching the last scene, where their failed rolls were blowing up? Because or is there a, because like,
Oh, do I still have a hard move on a shelf sitting over here?
yeah,
Is that what you're asking me?
that is what I'm asking.
Yeah, yes, I do. Yes, I
Okay,
do. I have a hard move
well,
sitting on a shelf over here.
because specifically, like, I guess the thing I'm trying to figure out is the Omni tool went out. I was trying to find. I mean, I found some cool stuff.
Yeah.
I was also trying to figure out where Vilpin is, and pretty clear. Well, seems like probably I didn't find that.
No, you know that you're on the 5th floor. You weren't able to get easy access up to there.
Okay, so I think. I mean, I think at this point. Well, first of all, I think that the Omni tool is making its way back to Lark, and then Lark is looking. I think I am scrambling a bit to try and find, the alarm's going off. I need to look for some sort of access to the 6th floor, right? We
Yeah.
know that's where
Yeah.
Vilpin is. So
So you will head take off, and you're finding your way to some stairs. And I think as you are doing that, you see this woman passes you by, heading towards where Ono and Chihabra are.
what am I? What do I notice about this woman? Like, are we?
Oh, well, she's armed, and she's trying to hide it.
Okay. So this is the security on the way. Uh, I'm torn between the perhaps she does have a key card. That's a fair fair point. I think that okay, so I think Lark's going to try and take advantage of the fact that she is focused on Ono going that way, and is going to
it's weird that she's ignoring you, because you're clearly out of place here.
Right, that it is weird.
Yeah.
I'm gonna attempt to get the jump on her, because maybe we can get some. Maybe we can, free Ono up, and we can actually, since he's the escape plan.
Let's have our last move for the session before we leave on a cliffhanger be that neutralize roll.
Perfect. All right, so I guess, and I think we're still rolling power here, because
Sure.
Yeah, Lark has not yet found the limits to his hubris. All right, so that's a +1, 2d6 +1 again. That's an 8.
That is an 8. So on an 8, you get to pick 2 of the hold, and you are going to take some damage here.
Okay. Let's see. Oh. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to inflict harm,
Okay.
and also force a change of location to hopefully keep Ono free of complication.
Yeah. So I imagine this is you smashing through a wall into an office kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, so, well, I think what this is, so Ono, Lark has a particle scalpel.
Okay.
And I don't know that we've actually, well, let's see. I said inflict harm, but maybe I'm actually not inflicting harm just yet. Because I think this is a, like, sort of particle scalpel to the neck type scenario. There's a threat of harm, but not yet.
So
not
you
yet
want
damaged,
to impress and force a change of location?
Yeah, I think that's
okay.
That's where we're
and I think that there is a thing where like you have to kind of like knock through a door into another office. You've got that thing. And I think the words that she says, she says, "You don't want to do this. We're not here for you. We're here for the Tome Keeper."
Oh.
And that's where we're going to stop for today, and we'll take up there next time. Let's just do 3 XP just for the end of session, just to get that like on the table and let people take advances and those kinds of things. So we'll do 3. We'll talk Lark next time about entanglements and drives and those kinds of things. But I think that's where we're going to stop. I would like to do a quick stars wishes. Stars again being things you dug, particular play, scenes, moments, and then wishes being things you want to see next time. So a trigger in our circle of fails of misses today.
Yeah, I thought fantastic session. Thanks everyone. A star to Joe for I particularly liked that there were lots of things I liked, especially the insight against Moss. But I wanted to mention the that last scene with the I've lost my purpose, and it feels like I'm running from something. Was sensational. That was really that was gold. I enjoyed that immensely. Mike, your willingness to injure Cora just to connect with Lark was certainly worth a star. I thought that was brilliant, and thank you as well for playing along with Trigger's shenanigans. So that's great. Yeah, welcome Kale. It's great to have you on board, and I really liked how you integrated Lark into our group. I thought it felt really natural and smooth, so I thought that was really well done. So star for that. And lol, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, man. That's fantastic. I love it.
Awesome. Cora.
Yeah, I wanted to call out Ono, as said, the insight on Moss as well. I particularly liked, he could have left, but he didn't. He stood up to Moss as the last thing and just kind of said, like, you're not very nice, and left him with a consequence. And yeah, that I really enjoyed that. Trigger holding it together for pretty much an entire session gets a star from me. Like that was. And not only that, but then like going through a transformation at the end and it being a positive experience. I think that was a really cool moment. I'm sure the pendulum will swing the other way at some point, but that was great to see. Kale Lark is unique and interesting and cool, and I can't wait to see more of them. The Omni tool flying off on its own to explore the church that gets a star from me. And just I'll reiterate, like, well done for hitting the ground running and just rolling with everything. Lola, it's tempting to say like everything, but I really wanted to highlight specifically the way you make truly hateable NPCs that aren't mustache twirlingly evil. I love to hate these people. Yeah.
Awesome.
And then I only had one wish from this week, and it was that I kind of want Moss to go out the window.
Okay.
I don't really want Moss to die, but but I think he's a scumbag, and he deserves to get some recompense for that.
Absolutely. And for you, Joe.
Yeah, no, this was pretty awesome. I'll double down on the lull with the likable but not so likable, because prior to the not shaking his hand, I was going to use the one that says like that you can help them even when you're not there. Like I was going to give them like a favor almost, and then that happened. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. And Kale, I was really think the bio stuff is really super cool and interesting, and I like the Omni tool thing. I had it, is when you were describing it, I had in my head like whether it was whether it was a beetle or dragonfly, like you said, it was a little disturbing, but like I could imagine like if you're sitting there, it's like it like lives on you, right? So it's like yeah, like that. That's super awesome. And also kudos for jumping right in and just you know, I think this is our most action-packed session ever. And I love Trigger, obviously, I specifically that sort of like conversation we had, and I like the fact that Trigger knows that they shouldn't do those things, but they do it anyway, right? Like, I know I shouldn't, you know, but somehow convincing themselves that by doing all this, Whiskey will know then that I love her, right? Which is so perfectly Trigger. And you know, Cora, again, you know, just the between the inner conflicts and the kind of losing it with the emotions is just and so I think my wish would be I don't know, maybe just more. I think that's all I've got. I believe I've positioned myself to finally start failing aggressively
Absolutely.
from this point forward. So yeah.
And you should get an advance, right? You will get an advance. Okay. And just to remind everybody, because I don't have it on the sheet marked, you can take a playbook move from your own playbook. You can take a playbook move from a playbook that's not in play. If it has a currency, you just, you know, modify the currency over to your own currency. Or you can also take a stat gain, but that's never as much fun as move. So I'll just mention that. And Lark.
Yeah. Well, I want to say just like thanks to all of you to like you know, coming in mid-session, like, and just like, you know, Lowell, I think you sort of set us up to just like connect nicely, and it would, you know, it like I was a little bit nervous, you know, coming in the middle of a season is difficult. Coming in the middle of a session in the middle of a season was like, it felt especially awkward, and I felt like it. I was really happy with just how it went. I need to go back and watch like episode 3 in the beginning of this, because I feel like the interaction with Moss, there sounds like there was so much going on, and I just like came in like right at the end as you were like jumping out the window, and so now I want to see what I missed. But Joe, your interactions with Chihabra, like just and Lowell, that like Chihabra, the middle manager, like just like it was a great like playing off each other. Yeah, I loved that sort of whole interaction. And Trigger, the final scene where you suddenly turned into the creepy spider was it was great. Yeah, and like looking forward to seeing how more of that develops. And yeah, I mean, Cora, I feel like between the, you know, answering all my questions about empaths, and like as far as the, you know, my ability to like just merge in, I think you were sort of instrumental in that. So thank you for that.
Anything wishes wise?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't think I
That's
have
fair.
any
That's a fair
yeah,
response. Yeah. I love the character. You hit the ground running, as everybody said. You came in, you had great questions. You were willing to ask questions, which is, I always appreciate that. And because all of that helps us, like, okay, let's dig into the world. Let's explore the things that we haven't figured out. And so that was really great. I've run this a lot, and I've seen the catabolist. I've never seen this particular configuration or this approach to the catabolist, and I'm really excited to see that. So this is dynamite. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this all goes pear-shaped next time. So I am going to stop the recording.